Praise the Lord on Tower 106 FM. We will not take sides, but listen to your side. Stay with us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the expert, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us both sides of the story by calling our local numbers 876-922-4112 You can listen to both sides of the story on the Power 106 FM app via the Gators website, Jamaica.
Which song?
As well as on One
Yeah, for the time being.
Listeners in the USA can dial 631-359-8281 to listen. And if you're in the UK and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, you can call 0330-606-0953. You can watch both sides of the story live on the Dervan Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Both Sides 106. Email bothsides106@live.com. Send your WhatsApp voice notes, audio messages, and text messages to 876-365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story. 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 Both sides of the story.
You can go with it.
Knowledge is power. Classes in session hour 106.
It is Thursday, the 10th of October, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. If you're just tuning in, I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we look forward to your usual participation. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. That's 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And already Steve MacDonald out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, is calling through. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Dervan, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Good
How are you
afternoon.
doing today?
Fine, thanks. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. And good afternoon to the wonderful people of Westmoreland. And a special shout out to the people of South Lamar and also Lennox Food in Darlington and today. Manning's family. Dervan, real quick, just wanted to touch on something. In Tuesday, I think it was, the finance minister, Nigel Clark, mentioned that they had securitized some or monetized securitized some payments from Norman Manley International Airport in trouble $480 million US.
Yes.
Yes. So they did a bond. They issued some bonds to get that money. Now there seems to be a lot of people don't seem to be knowledgeable on what it is and the potential pitfall that this is creating. And we did something similar during the Manley era with the bauxite funds in terms of having that paid up front for over a number of years. But the unfortunate thing back then is that the money was used for debt payment, so for everyday normal expenditure. And it seems as if that is the plan for this fund, based on what I heard the finance minister saying. So at the end of the 12-year period, we're going to have to repay this $480 million US. And a lot of people believe that. Some people have the impression that, okay, we get this $480 million US. We don't have to, that's it. He was very crafty and all of that.
Not at all. They must give an account for the funds. And the people must insist.
Not only give an account for the funds, Dervan, but a lot of people are not aware that this money has to be repaid at some point in time. So what we're going to do is to pay an annual interest rate on each bond of 6.75%, if I remember correctly. But at the end of the bond period, which is 12 years, the bond will mature. And we have to repay that $480 million US. Now,
hold a moment, please. One moment.
Learn how to protect yourself and earthquake. Log on to WeReady.org. That's WeReady.org for more information.
by the way, Dervan, we weren't hearing the radio on
Yes.
On Facebook.
Yes, you should be good to go now.
Okay. Is it raining now on this side? Dervan?
Oh, that question is for me?
Yes.
I don't know. I can't see what's happening outside.
Okay, but just in general, the past few days, has it been raining? Because we don't know, right? The way in foreign don't know what's happening. So from time to time, you need to spill a thing.
Hello?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah. Go ahead and pick up where you left off, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Dervan. I was saying to you that we have to repay this $480 million when it matures, the bond matures. So we have to be very, very careful that the money is not only used for expenditures, but is used to generate funds. So it finds its way in the productive sector, or it's invested in something that the money will be there. $480 million will be there to repay the bonds when they come due. Because we have come too far to have a repeat of what transpired in the past. So, we want to ensure that the money is invested. So it would be very useful if the finance minister can tell us how the money is going to be used. I know he mentioned that it's going to be used as part of it for the Sparks program. Again, that is taking care of expenditure and does not directly impact the productivity. And what I mean by that is not as if when you put it on the roads, it's going to say have an immediate increase in productivity. Yes, there's going to be a direct increase over time, but we need to ensure that wherever they're put using whatever he's using, 480 million.
Hold a moment, please. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Thanks for holding, Mr. McDonald. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Dervan. I was just saying that we need to have a situation where the finance minister tells the nation in terms of how the money will be used and where it's going to be where it will be used and what will be the return on this 480 million US. And hopefully at the house that he intends to repay that $480 million US at the end of when the bond matures. So all of those things we need to know. He would have already known that, because I can't believe that he would have gone to market without doing some actual studies on this. But so he needs to share that with the nation in terms of how is it that we're going to repay this money. Is it that they're going to be setting aside some fund each year for the next 12 years to ensure that there's $480 million US to repay? Or are they going to be investing the money to something that can generate enough to repay this amount? And this is information that we need. And instead of, and I would also dare say too, that this is something that the PSOJ, these are questions that the PSOJ should be asking instead of them fiddling in a room while it burns. They need to be, instead of trying to get more holidays on the books or realign the holidays, let me put it that way, they should be asking questions like these, because we need to know, because we don't want a situation like we had in the past, where now we have a $480 million US debt facing us in 12 years from now, and we don't have any idea how it's going to be repaid or anything like that. This is something that we need to find out now from that regard. So I hope that they will approach that. With regards to the unexplained wealth order, I really do hope that everyone stays on top of it to ensure that it does get passed. But I think part of the hesitation, though, Dervan, part of the hesitation on the government's part has to do with the economic benefit of criminal and illicit money into our economy. If I remember correctly, some time ago, I heard something that said at least, I think it was 60% of the formal economy is from the underground economy. If it's not 60, it was 40. And I remember not too long ago, the Minister of National Security, Dr. Harris Clark, said that at least $1 billion US comes into Jamaica annually, which is from criminal and illicit activity. Now, all of that money goes into the economy, and that contributes to our GDP. So I'm just thinking that the government is hesitant because they don't have a plan or a clue as to how they would replace that lost economic activity. And again, this is something that the PSOJ should be thinking about or engaging the government in conversation in terms of what will happen, how will we move forward. You're familiar with SAB, and you know that in SAB, one of our main income generator was the sugar factory in Fro. And that basically, it's almost closed, if I can say that. And, that has, I think, in some way, some form, has contributed to the high level of criminality and scamming in the parish. What is being done? So, you see, we have a domino effect when these things are happening, and then it's even made worse when we have the PSOJ people interested in realigning holidays. Like, we don't have any adults sitting at the table having those conversations with the government and to see how we can deal with our affairs in a much more progressive manner. Dervan, I want to thank you for the time and best wishes again. And also just to send a shout out to all of the Jamaicans in the Florida area who were affected by the storm. Just want to wish them all the best, and thank you very much, Dervan.
Yes, we join you in conveying empathy and warmth and love from Jamaica to our brothers and sisters and neighbors.
Oh, yes. All the best.
Take care.
Okay.
This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is 876-365-3346. So let's keep those calls coming in and those messages as we continue with more on Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Let's try and clear some of the many messages that have come in since the last time we checked. And all right, someone is trying to get through already. All right, maybe it got tired of holding. Let's go down the line. And Franklin McDonald, as usual, always in the runnings, so to speak. And he is keeping artificial intelligence on the front burner. Be My AI. And there's a link that is connected there. Kevin Galloway, as usual, logging on, listening. And we thank you for your usual listenership and support. Rudolph in Stony Hill says the transport minister needs to put buses on the Stony Hill Golden Spring routes. 100 buses came and things seem worse where the buses are concerned, says Rudolph from Stony Hill in West Rural St. Andrew. We've been getting that complaint for quite a long time, long before this latest shipment or the most recent shipment of buses to supplement the fleet. We should say good afternoon as well to Barry. Thank you for tuning in as usual. Faye says this selection is one of my original compositions. Can you and your team airplay for me? No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Let's see who else is online. 876-922-4112-5. Those are the numbers to call. 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. So once again, we commiserate with our family members at home and abroad. So we're still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. I wonder how Mas Albert is doing. Albert in Coconut Creek in the state of Florida. We'll need to check in with him and his colleague with whom we spoke some weeks ago. And let's see who else is online here at both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM as we continue to announce the contact information. If you wish to dial direct, 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. There's more after the break.
It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. It's onespotmedia.com. Watch your favorite local program or listen to your favorite radio station from anywhere in the world. On your tablet, smartphone, or personal computer. Download the app now and keep up to date with your favorite local programs on TVJ. Check us out at onespotmedia.com. Follow us on Instagram, facebook.com/onespotmedia, and subscribe now. onespotmedia.com. That's why I never want always hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. To the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon. Welcome.
That was contention. And backside levy was put in place to get some more revenue from the backside. Just at the time we were working early. There was question about how that money was used over here, but Jamaica did benefit from the levy. It was in the 1980s when the backside at the time there was a kind of downturn on the market. The country needed the financing and then they are going to look at deal with Mr. Legal to purchase a good amount of backside forward bar to come backside. Unfortunately, the price that we got for it, by the time we end up losing a lot of money because not long after the price went up. Remember, and we were stuck into this agreement because we had forward source of the backside. Mm-hmm. That was really satisfying. And I suppose we go and I think this situation with the airport is almost a similar situation. I can't know how that makes sense, especially with what we're doing with the fund. But that really was a call. I mean, my concern to get these agricultural sector. I don't have a year family president agricultural sector. He has all this. I mean, I don't know why, but they're supposed to government would want somebody like that to be minister. Because they want to get, create a lot of smoke and mirror situation that people think that everything is, when it is not so. But you raise some, I think you have an outro in one of our people. I think that him out of something that could hard. And one of the concerns is something that I have been asking questions for many, many years. Because growing up in Jamaica, we used to produce coffee, cocoa, pimento, and I think they call it cola. I don't know if you know that one.
Cola nut.
Cola nut, right. Yeah. And we used to make good money. The policy that succeeded government had over the years with our coffee to allow our coffee, our what they call lowland coffee, to go in decline. And then they in turn have people out there processing coffee, importing coffee from other places to blend with our coffee and then calling it Jamaican coffee. I mean, to me, it's the stupidest thing. Because I don't know if we were doing that, but not to the detriment of our local coffee industry. I could understand. But when you travel across Jamaica, there's almost no lowland coffee anymore. Right? And when you hear the amount of coffee that is imported to blend with what the factory out there that is making coffee out here, I mean, it's mind-boggling. Why weren't our local farmers given the opportunity to produce the coffee that is needed to process? Even if you want to get some, it should be 75 or 70% locally grown coffee and maybe 30% imported. It is the other way around. I don't because it was I think the COVID time that when there was some problem getting so much because of shipment, that I think there was some politics to utilize more of our local cup, and there was a lot of resistance because we hear it was aggressive one to our excuse. And the same thing goes for our cocoa. Look at what happened to our cocoa industry. Right? We used to run that car at Jamaica there. I think St. Mary's producing most of the cocoa. How much cocoa are we producing now in Jamaica? Right? I was going around boasting about we have the best states and the best and it is on the decline. If we have something that is so precious, how unheard, how policymakers over the years has allowed this product to decline. Right? And we are importing what part of these people head functioning? We're not building a country. We're not building a country that has a trading port. With all of what we have, Jamaica should be one of the most prosperous countries in the region. With all of the natural resources that we have, we allow our human resources to end up becoming, we're producing more gunmen and more scam and more anything else. Right? While all up to we have allowed our human resources to end up on the decline, when we see what the schools are producing, when you hear school, how many of our schools are producing persons that the percentage that are ending that necessarily to university, it's ridiculous. So our human resource is being, well, I don't know what word to use to describe it, and our natural or other resources that we have is in total decline. We import tomato paste for how many years have been doing that now? Why wasn't there some government policy to say, all right, we have processors producing tomato ketchup here. Let us go and get our farmers to produce the tomato that is required, contract them out like what I did with Mexico and cooperative, and they produce. People come together because one person might not do it, but they get people farming cooperative and they produce products. Yeah? And replace, there should be a policy to replace these import of mango porridge, June plum porridge. How much they import our source of porridge of like you out here? After these years, what kind of agricultural policy are we talking about? We allow the sugar industry to go on the decline that we can't find rum now. We do our own, we literally, systematically destroy our sugar industry because we want sugar land. The sugar lands are too precious to grow sugar and rum. So we give it, we allow the sugar industry to literally mash it up, so that we can get the land and we do out the land to them friends, right? I can't forget some time ago when there was this man who come down a program, I think was the farming program, and was really raising to live in hell. I put him land, him want him land. This man was one ancestor who worked for over 400 years finding the plantation out there. All them become out there come benefit. And then turn off the people who was farming on the land. And they claim that we're going to do mega. Where is all that mega farming that they were talking? What are those farms? Based on the land that they get are producing. And then we hear that the government is giving people 5-year lease on land to produce. What you can produce in 5 years? And they give these big men how much years with a lease on land. And the farmers who went to do the actual farming, who should be beneficiary of this land? Them push them off. And all we continue to do is import. Which other country can could have a rum industry like what we have in this country? Over 400, about 500 years we have produced rum in this country. And right now you can't get white rum. We're not even say alright. If we're not going to bother with the export of sugar, let us produce enough sugar to get the molasses to make the rum. No, we lack on everything. That we can't, I love use my molasses. And the place that I used to buy my molasses, they can't get anymore. Because we're not producing molasses. We are importing molasses. How the hell we should be importing molasses in a country that has been producing sugar for over 500 years? And these politicians have the gall to beat them shit. Then have no shame. And we, the citizens of this country, just sit down and allow them to just mash up everything. And we are all back at them like a puppy dog. And look what they are doing to this country. Then now no shame and we not upset. So I believe the welcome. Believe you me. If I had the will, man, I had the power, believe you me. I would make them disappear. We need a fresh set of people. We need a fresh set of people who have this country's interest and not their personal interest and their friend. Because like we want to recolonize country all over again. And put them as people under slavery, under slavery-like condition. And even worse. Because slaves wasn't responsible for their offspring. They weren't responsible for their housing. They weren't responsible for their clothing. All they have to do was to work. Now you're working and you're supposed to be responsible for all these things, but what you're working cannot sustain the night. So welcome. I tell you, I don't know when our heights are going to be open in this country, but I know I want to see. I want to see. Because this and how when you talk to people, it's like we are dumber now than before. Because at least there was one time when we as the generation were more conscious of who we are and what we wanted. But now all the things we want is just...
Hold a moment, please. Hold on, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. The Ministry of Health and Wellness wishes to advise awardees of the Dr. Barrington Root Memorial Scholarship Program that the deadline to complete their bonding agreement has been extended to Friday, October 18, 2024. Awardees who face challenges with meeting the requirements of their bonding agreement are encouraged to call the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service at 876-922-8600 or visit the office at 30 National Viewer Circle, Kingston 4. What seems to be the center of the storm. Neighbors whispering and standing side of the line that has been crossed.
Thanks for staying with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Still taking your calls and your messages. Those numbers again, 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Thanks for holding.
I don't hear any Marshall plan that the agricultural sector needs. They've been asking for years to set up an agricultural fund, just like how we have education fund, or set up a fund for the agricultural sector to provide funding for the agricultural sector. We need research, right? We need research. I hear we should have a university that have a research here for breakthrough, but just about every product that we have. We should have young people using them brain, doing research and these products to see how they can develop better quality, more more, what we call it, because more climate change, resilient product, eh? How to add value to what we produce. Instead, whatever we still accept them to foreign, but still in the same route, our primary state. Eh? We are, them things that where they are importing, what you call it, citrus, where from Jamaica and import here. Our citrus industry is actually totally gone. You can't get orange, tangerine, mandarin, all those nice juicy food that you could get a few years ago. When you're traveling away, none of them, them seeds to exist. Eh? What is the Ministry of Agriculture doing? Where is the scientists? Where are those persons who are researching to find ways to combat whatever it is? Eh? We are living in this era when a brain power, we need people to use them brain instead of taking that smoke it out and drink it out with white rum and boom and all them rubbish or smoke with 12/7. We need to use the brain to think of how we are going to survive, how our children are going to survive in the future. And how we're going to restore our agriculture product. Where is it going to find? We have all these nice products and they're just deteriorating, disappearing. And we have people in these African lead organizations trying down big fat salary. But doing what? What are they doing? And every minute talking about a celebration. Why do we look to celebrate here in this country? We're a puppet show. We're a real puppet show, you know. And people treat you how you allow them to treat you. Because if Jamaican, if we were more discerning and more demanding, and not so submissive and stupid, and doing that this person has some God our Lord over us, then we would make them understand that, look, you are there to serve the need and the interest of the country, not them damn political parties. Because that's what they are doing. We have a set now. The leaders looking to come in. How much of them here having any plans in the various portfolio? I don't hear them coming and say, what? This is what? One and two of them come from ideas. But how much of them here coming that what we need to do? No, all them actually this coming and get the big factor. Eh? I tell you, as I said, thank God, I don't really have neither children or grandchildren who is going to be subjected to these people's stupidity. And that's why I always talk about young people educating yourself, giving yourself choices. If you cannot make it here or not make it somewhere else. But educate yourself because only through education that will survive in the future. Because if people don't want to do manual labor, I go into America and I see sometimes somebody when I come out there, somebody people them and go and lecture them. I said to them, you know, when I go to Walmart in some stores in the United States, all they need is a card. You don't need no cash, nobody to back your back. You pick up your thing, carry it, check it out, swipe them up and add up and carry it and back it up and gone. We need more young people of the African descendants to focus on education, not the stupid young business. And I run and run against each other. I don't even know what. Because we love to talk about crab in a barrel and crab don't turn get to one another. They help each other to come out of the barrel. We just turn on each other like some kind of rabbit in the animal, killing off each other. All the other going and shoot up. And I kill her. And that's no. I am and what you call, I have no policy to make when I say I believe in capital punishment 100%. Anybody who go and kill people the way in which these persons are doing it, I don't care if 10,000 or 100 want to come after, but everyone that you catch who is guilty, you should dispatch them. Because that is one less. And even if 10 more come, it is still one less. And that one won't ever again, because there must be consequence. And there should be laws about people who go around and shoot up. If you go around and you see a group of people, and that should not be considered to be not simple homicide. It should be seen as terrorism, because as terrorism, and too much is taking place in this country. And we actually know we're accepting that kind of system now. So,
Hello. Same to you. Thanks for the call. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. A couple of messages. Mike Montgomery says, good afternoon, teacher, to you and your listeners. Sad in Florida. My wife and the children, they are okay in Fort Lauderdale. Keep safe, says Mike Montgomery. Thank you for checking up on us, Mike. Also messaging us, the eponymous Paul Miles of the eponymous Paul Miles Foundation. He says, hello, Dervan. I'm still overseas. We'll be back soon. Inez Iona Campbell Murray says, pleasant Thursday afternoon, everyone. Pleasant afternoon to you. And we'll pause there for the time being and take a few more calls. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello. Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan.
Good afternoon.
Yes, churchman here.
Welcome.
Yes, Mr. Portmore there. I would shake him hand now, sir, but I'm in Manchester. You know, Mr. Dervan, it's a long time talking, you know. Same thing as you saying there. Because the Bible says without a vision, the people perish. And what's the policy of the government over the years to borrow money to consume. The very dangerous thing, Mr. Dervan.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I remember my wife. She went behind my back and go to court. And we take out a fridge. And when I come home, I realized that my wife went behind my back. And Mr. Dervan, you have to find a way back to court to that, you know. My policy is not to borrow. Because the Bible said the borrower is a servant to the lender. And you can borrow, you know, Mr. Dervan, but if you have a good business and you pencil out that you will borrow the money, it will turn over and you pay your bill. But what happened in here now, Mr. Dervan, what I see happening here, I drive from Negril and to Portland, and it's fierce wasteland I'm seeing in us. Yeah, wasteland. But I said to myself, I wonder if these people have sense. Because if it was me, Mr. Dervan, You drive from Negril to Westmoreland. You're just looking onto your fruit tree, you know.
Mm.
But I just believe this people here, some wicked people here. I don't know if it is something that is planned, but they have to plan to really destroy the people because it's just common sense. You know, you don't have to go to university to have common sense. So, Dervan, I planted some orange tree the other day, 40 orange tree. It's about a year ago. And I tell you, the goat them kill off is about, they kill off most of them, leave about 6 of them. And right now, the lime tree, they're bearing. There's a year ago, the lime tree bearing. The orange tree, them taller than me, Mr. Dervan.
Mm.
One that they got left. So that's what I'm saying, sir.
Loud and clear.
Because you see the rain that you get to know, you plant these trees, fly them, you know, sir.
Mm.
It's not grow them growing, it's flying them, flying. So
Mm.
I believe, you said, man, why do you don't allow the program here, so with the diaspora, they take over Jamaica, sir? Because it don't make sense to talk every day, and because I don't ever suffer in them, Mr. Dervan. Just come up with a program, bring Portmore and some people and take over the country, farm ourselves together, and let us use the program, fund the program, and take over the country with the program. You run for election. Because it doesn't make no sense, we talking. Because these people a long time anyway, as the Rasta man said, I'm working with the king, the king of England. Because I went to court one of the time, and when I went to the court, I saw the people bowing down.
One moment, please. One moment, please.
Yes.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is 3 o'clock.
This is Science Shop on their health.
No, them there some illegal gun, but we know what them knows, yeah.
Don't worry, sir. Crime Stop is credit funded and run by the police. Everything reported here is anonymous. It's just to enter invisible.
What about the reward?
We provide cash rewards for information that leads to an arrest or covered. We'll start the cash. So nobody will ever find out.
All right, let me tell you. Make the call. Crime Stop 311. Solving crime pays.
Someone has sought to bring to our attention some of the production that has taken place. The first of the two threads says, Mr. Lenworth Fulton, president of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, JAS, has been speaking to the crisis in cocoa production due to the devastating frosty pod disease, aging cocoa plants, and significant financial barriers faced by farmers seeking loans for rehabilitation. And there's another bit that looks at the catalysts of cocoa shortages. The current cocoa shortage is the result of a perfect storm of environmental and economic factors. And it goes on to talking about the aging cocoa trees in West Africa, some of which have been bearing fruit for decades, are producing fewer, less healthy pods. And there's yet one more. Climate change, poor farm management, and diseases are the major limiting factors to bountiful cocoa production around the world. So those are some of the responses on the subject. Yes.
That's why you have universities and you have these smart children, you know. So you're gonna give scholarship, and people gonna they're looking into these diseases and all these things. Because you have some of the orange tree, what them do now? You take the orange tree, them they dying out. So what them do? They use the sour orange, and they what they do? They engraft the sour orange with the orange, because the sour orange finds the disease now and trouble with the sour orange. So you engraft the orange with the sour orange.
Mm-hmm.
You understand, Mr. Dervan?
Yes.
So it's, you know, you have to use certain science thing, and the chocolate, right now the price of chocolate is almost like the price of gold. And if you continue to borrow to pay the pay bill, the police, borrow to pay the police. Yeah, the police is working, but what production the police doing away from giving traffic ticket? The doctors, you know, the doctor do a good work. But what the income they're bringing in? The teacher, yes, they're doing a good work. You understand? You want business in the country, and you know, high-end agriculture. You know, the tree. You know, these are high-end agriculture where you can use them, and after you have it, you process the thing. You know, but we need some leaders who have a vision, sir. Malcolm, we cannot continue to borrow and because we comfortable and we have billions. I tell you, they come over from now. I saw that place, the prime minister have run from the country. I don't remember the place. And then take over the house and all these things. So we don't want to reach that far. So as I said yesterday, sir, the poor people them. You know, Mr. Dervan, Jamaica is one of the best countries in the world. And God, you know, so God show it us through Usain Bolt and Sherry and Fader. The Jamaica people, you know what they want, Mr. Dervan?
What?
It's opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so me start medical life with 500, Mr. Dervan.
Mm-hmm.
You know that?
I wouldn't be surprised. I've been told lots of stories of people who came through, notwithstanding.
Mr. Dervan, if you ever see me use 500 around, Mr. Dervan, I think you're that drop down. $500. You understand me? So all we need is opportunity. And even sometimes the people selling on the road, them treat the people them like a dog. I saw the old lady selling and them tip of her thing and all that, treat the old lady like dogs. You know, you treat them, you don't want them that they road, but you talk to them good, you know, and help them build up themselves. You know, the vibes when you press the phone, you press God. You understand this? And so, that's why in Portmore, my wife tell me, say, don't call today, no, sir, but it's Portmore that they call. And you need people like Portmore to come and we take over the country. Because we can do much better. We can't continue to borrow. This country of Chinese will take it over. And slowly, they're taking over the country. You got to mind if you never store they are Chinese. It's Chinese, you know, sir. And then take a little time and take over the country. And little more from now, we have to start to work with them. And as slavery come back, because they pay any little thing they want. So it's slavery them bringing back in the country. So
No,
that's why I call you, you know, Mr. Dervan. I call you because I don't have to call you, but I don't feel comfortable in how the country went. That's why I call you. You know, we can do much better, man. Even Spring over what I'm talking about all the while. You have a place in Porus named Green Pan. You ever hear about Green Pan, Mr. Dervan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So Dervan, you ever hear about Green Pan in Porus?
Sounds like you're not listening to me at all. I told you yes about 3 times.
So you say yes, all right. Green pan, you see me, sir? What do you know about green
You
pan,
still
Mr.
didn't hear me.
Dervan?
It's all right. Let's move on.
Yeah, green pan, you see, sir?
Mm.
It's a place. It's a big, big place where the water, it can't dry. The water, it can't dry. It never dry. And spring will run surround the communities. When you have drought, certain thing farming do the well. You know the well. So if you want big water from the green pan and put that water up to Darkin, a few million here, so around there. Because our dirt up here is not like Clarendon dirt. And you know, really good dirt because when the water sector, it's a level place, Clarendon. So you put that water up from green pan and the whole porous. Porous is pure water, but that water in green pan. And it's 3 million here. You know, you have here. And they know how to use them here. And they don't have to use any pump. They can gravity feed it from green pan because of you. So Dervan, take care, you know, sir?
You too.
Yes.
Continuing with more on both sides of the story here on Paro 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And somebody also sent us, this was Franklin McDonald, a link with respect to beginning a search for knowledge by finding out how much of the world production of coffee or sugarcane or sugar or molasses Jamaica is responsible for. I think we are less than 1% of all of those, he says, in terms of world production. And then he takes us back to the Great Hurricane of 1780. And there's a link to boot, courtesy of Wikipedia. So you can check that out if you are so minded. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Why the Chinese don't bring their technology to be in Jamaica? All they do is set up shop. The Chinese don't support anyone than themselves. From Omar. Okay, Omar, we hear you. I'm sure they would tell you otherwise, though. This one says, why are the sick parents involving the children in politics on the social sites, teaching them to become wild and hateful like the old wild ones? Barry. Well, it's people are emotional beings. It's the hope is that they will take charge of the habits and take charge of the general approach that they take to discussing whether matters of socioeconomic or other affairs. Otherwise, it will just peter out. We hear you. We hear you. Thank you. Thank you very much. This one says, the government is wicked and uncaring. That's another of the messages. And this one says, okay. All right, we got the messages. Thank you very much. But feel free to keep those messages coming here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. So we're still taking your calls. Franklin McDonald says, Dervan, I thought you would have found that today is the anniversary. We just talked about it a while ago, Mr. McDonald. So you're hearkening back to the anniversary of the great hurricane of 1780. It began affecting the Eastern Caribbean on the 10th of October and was not finished with them until the 16th, after taking 25,000 lives. So that's where we're coming from. A time when a hurricane impacted negatively, taking 25,000 lives. 25,000, unbelievable. We certainly have a lot to be thankful for. As we continue with more on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. Norman Hines says, blessed afternoon, Sir Dervan Malcolm. Blessed afternoon, Norman Hines. Thanks for tuning in. One moment, please.
You're listening to Poro 106 FM. The time is now 3:15. Shareholders in Regular Jamaica Limited, please be advised that our next annual general meeting will be held on Wednesday, October 23, 2024, at the Terra Nova All Suite Hotel, 17 Waterloo Road in Kingston, commencing at 10 a.m. Notices of the meeting, along with a cover letter and the form of proxy, have been mailed to shareholders in Jamaica as required by our rules. You can download the full annual report document from our website, rgruniongroup.com/publications, or the website of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. You can contact our office via WhatsApp number 876-356-3184 and share an email address if you would like the annual report sent to you by email. Alternatively, you can collect a copy of the report at one of our offices at 32 Lindhurst Road or 7 North Street in Kingston, 23 Orange Street in Montego Bay, Shop 16 Point Plaza in Ocho Rios, Japan, or Shop 9 Midway Mall in Mandeville, Manchester. That was a notice to shareholders of Regular Jamaica Limited regarding the upcoming annual general meeting scheduled for Wednesday, October 23, 2024 at 10 o'clock at the Terra Nova Hotel.
Here's a listener saying, thank you very much. Here's a listener saying, OMG, this man sounds like how I feel about Jamaica. And Angela Pink says, hi, Dervan, pleasant afternoon to you and listeners. I hope the youngsters will come and be vigilant and do what needs to be done. We need help, says Angela. Let's take some more of your calls now, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Yes, greetings.
person who is going to be planting Jamaica coconut trees and planting the Niagara Parish there in Chandarpur, but practically it's now maxed out because the short sprinkler, how would you get the water from the green pan to gravity to pour us? Have to go upstream. I want at the highest point of pour us section. And if you stand up with Charlie and spring over and look across over very if you have a clear view, you could end up down that way. So to have it running over the road at a height that tractors and trailers and all of those containers can pass and they are going to come higher than street and they know. So how you get to go down in a forest gravity?
Gonna have to put through a call to Rascaber and ask him.
So this intentions are good, but you have to match it out, man, and this is the practicality. Moreover, for us have more than 2 wells on our Hampton Road. They have one, and they put a Melrose in our vehicle intention. So for us have a water shortage. So I don't see that will cost too much money. The gravity for us when we have we have one of the best water in Manchester. So it has tied to the man the water supply. So for us have a water problem. You need piece of good agricultural land and this is where you want to go. But from there so still don't afford it. A youth stab a youth down at the school multiple times at the poor side school for card of $200. The youth just now hospitalized, so hopefully he is not critically. Now why I even said that, we hear so much instances of weapons in schools that used to expose to other students. What is the security that they have in place at for them that children can go through with weapons without being detected? They don't learn from other schools experience. Children stab up in their school, kill them, injure them, fight bad and yard with the boy, and I want to have my school. You know that never used to happen because they are great there. So what is happening?
There's a spirit and an energy that seems to be vexed, terribly vexed. I'll be quick. I remember stopping at an intersection near Tasty, the headquarters for Tasty Patties, and got into this space round about the time when the fracas started, when the problem started, who started cursing who and whatever. So to quell the whole thing, I dipped into my pocket to say, "It's all right. I'll pay for the. I'll give you the fare. I'll give you the money for the fare. Don't worry about it." And it took a while to get the other person in a calm calm mood after a while, because all she wanted to do was to get back at the taxi driver, right. So I don't know where we get where we get that energy from, and just that people being serious, and no matter what, watch me and you, and that determination. If only we could apply more of it to the positive elements.
I think it gets out of hand from, support to step on a man's staff. From that scenario that they're coming out practice now. The youth just get angry from in school. When I tell them, man in that school could not have man in that school, and the whole of the school nobody send them to our section. Now they themselves are attacked by themselves. They have to need no other people from no other school. But you need a better security system. They're going to find ways and pieces because they're going to tell them somewhere where they do. But at least when you have to do the monitor, it's supposed to pick up things on your walls and the furniture walls that's supposed to be a way that nobody can show it or no. So the government they need to take security of students
seriously.
Because I am wondering what the social worker are the guidance coach job description of school where they can carry it out. Because it's not working out. And it's just sad to see if we end up in our one brother and sister we are made on injured and they go to something. $20 can't even buy one good drink, you can't buy $200. And you have a run the risk of killing a one $200. No man, we need to have love to one another. We can't just go on like with best friend and we work and no, I don't know how to deal with that, but I implore the government to put more strict security measures in the school, have curfew unannounced. Because the youth of us are gone bad, but we cannot just be a blind eye family. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the call. Take care, Raskava. We continue with more on both sides of the story here on Paro 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. To the phone lines once again. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. I
Great.
heard once that the EV, the battery, if they get in contact with salt, water, they could catch a fire. Have you heard about that?
Easy. What's that?
Electrical vehicles and the batteries that they carry.
Oh, EV.
Yes, the EV. The electrical vehicles and the batteries that they carry. If they get in contact with water, they can explode. Did you hear about that?
No, that's a breaking story. I'll definitely need to check into that.
Yes, please, yes. When I heard about the possibility of a storm surge in Florida, I thought myself, what if there are a lot of electrical vehicles on the shoreline? And I don't know what will happen. But that was something I thought about. Mr. Malcolm, it's very disheartening how we in Jamaica are now seeing where almost every other day there's a mass killing, a shooting. It makes me wonder, how is it possible? I really want to ask the police themselves, I want to ask the police, how is it that they allow such things? I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. Is it because they have no idea on how to deal with terrorists who are roaming the streets of Jamaica on foot and on bike and in car? Why are they powerless. When I'm out on the road and I see the police, I make sure that I don't make any strange move. And because I don't want them to mistake me, the wrong door. But I don't understand how they can't seize on these men. I don't understand, sir. The liberty that we in Jamaica have, we're not a liberty in Jamaica. But I think the liberty we have is because of poverty. It's because of lack. It's not because the liberty that we have as individuals in Jamaica is not because we are a sweet, civilized society, but it's because it's a broken down poverty
stricken
society. Yeah. So in other words, there's no police to police the place. I'm glad when the police pass my place, they don't drive through. They look and see what I'm going. They don't drive fast. I've always wondered about that. They just pass through the place fast. They don't just easy and just talk to the shopman and talk to the man and talk to the man and just talk to that person and say, what's going on? Mr. Malcolm, is it because we're low intelligent people? What's going on?
No, there are people who will tell you that they're putting in the work, they're trying their best, they're doing the best they can. And there's another set who might themselves at different points be involved in other acts, negative behavior.
I think we need our police population to increase. I think we have 14,000 officers now.
Yes.
Last time I heard. Maybe we need 28,000, 30,000. Because without, when it casts away the mice for training.
Hold on, one moment, please.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:13. Tune in to Power 106 FM with the diaspora man himself, Dervan with the Jamaican diaspora live online, connecting with Jamaicans no matter where in the world you are, engaging dynamic conversations, celebrating and sharing in our rich culture, heritage, and hear the stories of Jamaicans making a positive impact wherever they reside. Let's unite and strengthen the bond of our homeland. Join us every Saturday from 6 to 9 a.m. for the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online with Dervan Malcolm, right here on Power 106 FM, the Power 106 FM app, One Spot Media, and go-jamaica.com. Don't miss out.
Thanks for holding.
Yes, sir. Mr. Malcolm, we are already under strict surveillance from the bank. We are under strict surveillance from the bank because if you get too much deposits in your account, you're frozen. And if you try to spend too much in one day, you're frozen. So why can't we be under the same kind of surveillance as we are by the bank? Why can't we be under surveillance from the police? I never thought I would ever say those words. Because I'm a rebel originally. And still I'm quietly. But it's like a savage set of people are on the loose. And we need surveillance. Why them can't have drones and surveil the place? Does anybody have to be a university graduate to He got that. Drones, look how Israel use drones and destroy Lebanon. Why they can't use drones at all? And get the boy them. Why? I want to know. Also because they want the boys to prosper.
I'm sure they had made some plans early on when they started using drones here in Jamaica. Because I remember I was at Denby, and there was a gentleman there, a member of the diaspora, who was home for the holidays and promoting drones, but apparently it didn't go far enough, if at all. Not sure what is the status of it right now.
Well, the people have the power to make changes and to make an impact. They need to act, man. They need to get things going. I'm not a regular idiot, and I was a marijuana user back in my young days. And I was a rebel time, yeah. Someone that really love to be on the surveillance for damage. But at this point in time, when we see society waiting, we need to be monitored. Because most of our people today are just not normal anymore. Yeah. The natural respect that I remember even in the 90s when people passed them to my head was so touching at the time. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was a unique thing. I knew that. But you know, it's different with tomorrow. So we need to be monitored by the police. And maybe we need more police personnel, or they need to use drones then. I mean, the drones. Then they need a drone force. Yeah. You know, remember when they abolished Harman Barracks? Harman Barracks was rough, but the white man never wanted it there. So no, take it away. So, okay, so we have to abandon Harman Barracks. Well, now we need drones to replace them so they can go hunting and searching and surveilling the people. If we don't get drones as a police force, the boy will get it. All right, sir.
All right, thank you for the call. This one, oh, of course. It is. Let's take the break and come back.
Welcome to your Legal Corner on Power 106 FM, your source of information for all matters regarding U.S. immigration. Call in with your questions and concerns on 876-924-1125. You can send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Time now for your Legal Corner during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM.
It's a Thursday afternoon, just after 3:30 here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, and it's time once again for Your Legal Corner, the program where all your U.S. immigration matters are dealt with. Anything to do with U.S. immigration matters, this is the place, this is the time. And let's get those numbers going. 876 922 4112 to 5. 876 922 4112 to 5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. Let's say hello and good afternoon to let's say hello and good afternoon to Dahlia Walker Huntington, host of Your Legal Corner on both sides of the story, Horror 106 FM. I am fine, thanks. And you? Well, tell us about it, please.
Down where I am in South Florida, where I would say the bulk of the Jamaican population is in Florida, which is in Miami-Dade County and Broward County, and also Miami-Dade and Broward and Palm Beach counties, did not have significant impact from, I should say, major impact from the hurricane. We did in certain areas have tornadoes, particularly in Palm Beach County, that affected areas, residential areas. The entire South Florida really was not expecting to be severely impacted, but the hurricane did spawn tornadoes that impacted Palm Beach County and far south Miami-Dade County. The rest of the state also is now sort of drying out and coming out from the impact of the storm that hit less than 24 hours ago. That was not the severity with which the storm hit was not as harsh as was predicted. The wind field was, I think the highest I saw this morning was 105. And the storm surge was not as high as they had expected. I understand from the meteorologists that this is because the storm came ashore. It's sped up, so it came ashore a few hours earlier than had been ashore in low tide. So it did not catch the high tide to push as much of the ocean, the Gulf into the different areas. And it also came ashore about 20 miles south from Tampa, where they had expected it to come ashore and would have done a lot more damage. So there is damage. They're still assessing the damage right now. Millions of people are without electricity at this time, and people are trying to return home to the West Coast. One thing I must tell you, Dervan, is that people heeded the call to evacuate. I think after seeing what Hurricane Helene did across the South 2 weeks ago, when people were told to evacuate, the vast majority of people evacuated. Some towns and cities were communities were left with no one there, which the police are saying was good because they weren't receiving calls in the middle of the night to come and help somebody when the conditions were so bad on the street. So we're still assessing the damage in Florida. The numbers, I've seen two different numbers. I've seen 5, I've seen also 8 persons have lost their lives. I don't know which is correct. We know that 4 people in Port St. Lucie lost their lives from the tornado, which is on the opposite side of the state, not the West Coast where the hurricane came ashore. So I think it's still too early to tell what the total damage will be, but we're not seeing these horrific scenes of water inside homes and people in the homes with them. There might be 1 or 2 incidents of that. Certainly the tornadoes did a lot more damage than was expected, and so widespread and far away from where the storm touched down. So it only goes to show that when these storms are coming, we need to heed the warnings. We were told that there might be tornadoes coming out of the outer bands, and they certainly did in a wide cross section, particularly in Palm Beach County.
So do these things run you down as well? What are the tornadoes?
Well, it's one of the scariest things to be driving on the highway and you see these very, very large, thick clouds, black clouds, and out of the clouds comes a downward spiral. And it depends depends on how fast they're moving. There's not much you can do to get out of the way other than to take cover and take shelter in the lowest possible space that you can find. You're on the highway, you're told to go underneath an overpass and wait out the storm. And I think the persons whose homes were damaged, they were shocked. As soon as they heard the tornado warning, and I understand it sounds like a train coming, many people just had time to get to the lowest point in their house. So it does move very quickly. So if you're on the road and you see one coming, it comes by very quickly because they touch down, the clouds touch down to the ground, picks up whatever is in its path, and then it either dissipates or it goes back up into the sky. So that's as much as scientific information description I can give you.
No, you've done well, very well.
But it's very scary. It's a very scary phenomenon. Remember, as a child in Jamaica, we sometimes see what we used to call whirlwinds, when the wind picks up and spins in a whirlwind and picks up whatever is in its path. But these are far larger and definitely more destructive than a whirlwind that comes around when there's a thunderstorm.
All right, we need to take a break coming up. Perhaps you could give us an idea of the steps that would take place after, or since the end of the system, the storm.
Sure.
We'll do that after the break, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Tune in to Power 106 FM with the diaspora man himself, Dervan for the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online, connecting with Jamaicans no matter where in the world you are, engaging dynamic conversations, celebrating and sharing in our rich culture, heritage, and hear the stories of Jamaicans making a positive impact wherever they reside. Let's unite and strengthen the bond of our homeland. Join us every Saturday from 6 to 9 a.m. for the Jamaican Diaspora Live Online with Dervan Malcolm, right here on Power 106 FM, the Power 106 FM app, One Spot Media, and go-jamaica.com. Don't miss out.
You're listening to Your Legal Corner, your source of information on all matters regarding U.S. immigration. You can call in with your questions and concerns on 876-922-41125. You can send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Now, back to Your Legal Corner during both sides of the story on Power 106 FM.
And already we have a question. This one says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and lawyer. Approximately, what's the overall cost, including all the respective fees, to file an H-2B petition for approximately 10 employees? This is from start to finish. DJ from NY."
That person would have to sit down with during a consultation to go through a myriad of questions. We'll not be able to do that on here.
Okay. And let's see. I would like you to visit the used. Oh, no, this is something else. All right, so that's the first call for matters in relation to U.S. immigration. Let's just put out another announcement at least before time runs out. So spread the word, family members, friends, colleagues. neighbors. It's that time of the week and the day and the time for your legal corner with U.S. Immigration Attorney Dahlia Walker Huntington. And we are taking your calls 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5, and the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. But before we took the break, I was pointing you, Miss Dahlia, in the direction of where what happened. Yes.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, those persons who had appointments yesterday and today, and could be tomorrow as well, with U.S. Immigration or Immigration Court in Florida, their appointments may have been canceled. Well, it would have been canceled for yesterday and today, and I'm not sure about tomorrow. But if your appointments were canceled, the place was locked down, you will automatically be rescheduled for another date. But tomorrow, you should go to uscis.gov and look for field offices and see if your field office has a notice whether they're open or closed tomorrow, or if you have an immigration court case, it's the Executive Office of Immigration Review, or EOIR under the Department of Justice, to see if your specific court is closed tomorrow. But certainly people were inconvenienced because government offices, the whole place was shut down basically in Central Florida and the West Coast. Even affected in Broward and Miami-Dade, some of the court's offices were closed. So if you have a court hearing or an interview date for your citizenship or a green card, check for tomorrow to see if the offices are open or not. And if you had one for yesterday and today, and you were not able to because everything was shut down, excuse me, you will be automatically rescheduled from yesterday and today. So asking Dervan what's next in the storm. One of the most important things is to get life back to normal as quickly as possible. So to get the electricity turned back on, and the state, when something like this is happening, the assistance comes from all over. So it's not just the electric company in Tampa or in Orlando that is going to be dealing with repairing the down power lines and so forth. There are people from all across the state, areas that were not affected, and outside of the state that were poised to move in as soon as it was safe to do so, to start reconnecting the power. This morning, there were 3 million people in the state who did not have power. And so that's going to be part of the first response, is to get the power on. Then also to assess who needs help. The Federal Emergency Management Association, FEMA, was already on the ground. They are going to set up offices in hard-hit areas so people can go and apply for assistance. They often give you emergency assistance, a few $100s to tide you over until they process whatever applications you are making for assistance to repair your house, your cars. I saw something this morning where a tornado picked up a car and put it on the roof of the house. So that house is definitely badly damaged, and people have insurance as well as seeking federal assistance to get you back up and running. But electricity is important, clearing the roads, the debris, which was a concern with this storm because the debris from Helene had not been completely cleared off the streets in certain neighborhoods. So it's getting the roads passable, getting the power back on, water if it's disconnected, so people can start returning home and salvaging what they can. We now have since this morning, a line of traffic miles and miles long trying to get on the highway from the east side, the Fort Lauderdale area, back to the west coast as people are trying to go back to assess the damage that they may have incurred.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where things are to get things back up and running. And it's politics is involved because the general election has begun actually, because people have already voted. I've received my mail-in ballot in Broward County and intend to vote over the weekend, to mark my ballot and drop it off when it's time for early voting. But some people have already mailed their ballots back in. And so the politics, unfortunately, of disaster relief and assistance is in full swing, because there are incredible rumors that have been circulated as a result of Hurricane Helene, and the FEMA, as well as the president, has had to be on the offensive now, going into Milton to say, don't believe the rumors that were spread during Helene. Go, and the FEMA is here. The government has the money. They will be supporting the citizens. There's all kinds of rumors that I don't even want to repeat on air in case somebody picks up on a last part of what I'm saying and believe that I am confirming these rumors. But the fact of the matter is, if you have damage, federal government will step in and assist, because the state has asked for that assistance. The state has to ask for it. Federal government cannot just step in unless the governor of the state asks for assistance, and this governor has.
Yes.
That goes out to everybody who was affected. If you weren't, then it wasn't a major storm, but if it's your house that got damaged, your roof that's gone, your car that's smashed up, water in your house, then the hurricane was a big deal for you. So really going out, and we have Jamaicans living on the west coast and in central Florida. So I haven't heard anything. Everyone who I know in all of these areas have weathered the storm well, but there are tons of people who moved into these areas.
What's the general spirit and energy in which the work being done is being done?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay. All right. And still to come, other matters. I think someone had said something about, well, in terms of sort of detecting a level of concern about
what?
Concern about what was said in relation to, we thought that I don't want to get into the politics, but
unfortunately, it's journalists call it the silly season when you're leading up to an election, and there's so much on the line, and all sorts of things used to happen. But now it's not. It's silly if it's an unforced error, if somebody makes a mistake. But these days there are intentional actors out there who are purposely sharing misinformation and disinformation to confuse people. And in a case like seeking assistance from the government, if you're telling people the government doesn't have the money, then you're hurting the very people who who you claim you want to represent or who you claim are your supporters. You are hurting them.
That is
you
it.
tell them, don't go and because there's no money, all you're going to get is $700. Doesn't make any sense. Not true. Not true. So the best thing for anybody who maybe have been affected in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and from Helene is if you have family members who are in those areas, please tell them to contact to find out where the FEMA office is in their community and to go and apply for whatever help that they need.
Speaking of help, here's another question. Good day, Dervan and Mrs. Walker Huntington. My B2 visa expires in September of 2025. How soon would I be able to renew?
You know, I would assume that between now and next year, September, that you will be traveling. So I usually say 6 months, 3 months out, you apply to renew. You use the visa right up until you can.
Okay, listeners, if you're just tuning in, it is Your Legal Corner with U.S. Immigration expert Delia Walker Huntington. And I didn't realize we were this close to the end of the segment.
Yes,
Time flies.
We are. So just want to remind people that in Jamaica, my office has relocated to 16 Knoxford Boulevard, 9th floor. It's by appointment only. And the number to reach us there is 876-969-9666. That's 969-9666 or 925-0949. That's 925-0949. And the office is now at 68 Knoxford Boulevard, 9th floor. But please call to make an appointment. If you want to reach me in the U.S., it's 954-963-8555, 954-963-8555. And we do practice immigration law throughout the United States. So whatever state you are listening to me, I can represent you in that state.
Okay. Well,
all right, Mr. Dervan.
Thank you very much, Miss Delia.
You are quite welcome. Looking forward to next week, and thanks to you as always.
Mutual respect.
All right, take care.
Okay, you too.
You've just listened to Your Legal Corner, your source of information for all matters regarding U.S. immigration. Join us next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM. At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Save for retirement now. No matter how young you are, plan for your retirement now. With the power of compound interest, when you start saving in your 20s, you will earn interest not only on the principal you deposit, but also on the interest you earn over time. And you will have what you need to retire someday. Company-sponsored retirement plans are a great choice. Not only do you get to put in pre-tax dollars, but many companies will also match part of your contribution, which is free money. If you don't start early, you may end up needing to work much longer to catch up on your retirement savings.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. But there's also 876-279-8598. 876 279 8598. And some messages that have come our way as well since the last ones. Cuban in Georgia says, Sir Malcolm, is there... Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I must have to agree with Portmore. The destruction of our agricultural industry is beyond repair. We're not producing as we ought to. The removal of GCT on imported foreign raw materials has dealt a severe blow to the agricultural industry. We will never get back to our full potential production under this current arrangement with the WTO and the North American Free Trade Deal. Let's go to, thank you for your message, Cuban in Georgia. Let's go to another thread of these messages. The government been imploring the private sector to drive the economy for decades, and each year of their mandate and management in every year, we've seen the decline in productivity in the way of divestment. They divested the orange, the pimento, coffee, sugarcane, divested the making of ketchup, bauxite, the JPS, the JOS transportation system, the Lovebird, the cement company. They also divested the AMC market, the Jamaica Telephone Company, just to name a few. In the 50s to 70s, we were the number one manufacturing island in the world. How can we organize and centralize what is left of our assets and retooling of our agricultural industry to get back into the production stage for ourselves and not selling raw materials, but actually manufacturing the first product to the world and better marketing of our goods and services. Another one, Sir Malcolm, are there any farmers in Jamaica getting subsidies from the government and the minister on agricultural tools and equipment and on fertilizers or pesticides? If they are not getting subsidies, who's getting these subsidies? In what year? How long did those subsidies last? And did they take full advantage of the government subsidies? Pertinent questions from Cuban in Georgia. And it's time for the break? Oh no, okay. Let's take another call. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Let's try again. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, let's continue with more on both sides of the story. Poro 106 FM, we still have some messages to clear. Neville, otherwise known as Salah, says Dervan. Omari asking why the Chinese not bringing science to Jamaica. The Chinese who come to Jamaica are not scientists, they're shopkeepers. What the government has to do is to invite the Chinese scientists to Jamaica. That's what needs to be happening. Salah from Kingston. Okay, Salah from Kingston, thank you for your message. Let's go to the phone lines again. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Malcolm,
Yes, sir.
how are you today?
I am giving thanks for life. And you?
I'm quite okay, so just enjoying the program.
Happy to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to try the last message of those people over the agricultural sector.
Mm-hmm.
I I plan to suggest to you that we have to go back in the future.
Or Back to the Future.
Go back to the future.
Mm.
In the past, we have more than enough to give away, to send, and to supply. Presently, we don't have enough to even buy what is here. That is very little. And I'm wondering if the Minister of Agriculture, along with the governing body, could have meeting with the farmers at different points. I remember some years ago, the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Rajata, invite all the farmers to meet at Api, and they had a forum. And some years after that, I think it was Mr. Tufta who invited the farmers down to Chilani at the where we had the next stadium down here. And they had some dialogue. What today is that the farmers are left alone. They have to frazzle out their own way. The condition that some of the farmers find themselves in is unproductive because even the roadway, time pass you also have agencies inside instructors inside communities who used to guide the farmers. Whatever crop they are planted, they used to guide it. And marketing was so because we used to have the ANC.
Mm.
Now there is no storage. And when things is structured, is that it go to waste. And afterward it becomes short and the price just go right back to the consumer. I think yesterday the article you mentioned about sweet pepper. $1,000 a pound for sweet pepper. That means it's a specialty. At one time, cabbage $600. And the farmers, I'm sure that the farmers who don't go to the market does derive benefit from the labor that they put in. So I think government has to step in more and give more attention to the farmers in this country. Don't just have a meeting by yourself and then you send message on the radio because it's not everybody going to listen to all the radio station at the same time. So I believe if they go to some of the villages, have community meetings, sit down with the farmers, find out their problem. Because to be honest, rather is not going everywhere. Rather is not going everywhere. And this thing can be done by one set of people. It has to be a community effort. All of us have to have hands on deck. And I think the JAS have to step in more frequently. You know, when you have man like Mr. Norman Grant, we need those people like those boys within these things because things was much better. Farmers used to enjoy the returns, the cocoa, and all the products you can think of that we don't have now. We have to be importing it. And the years that can grow something, I don't think government know these years because the farmers are strangers to the ministry. So I think if they go back to the drawing board and rethink and look back in the past and bring back some of those way of product, we can really get somewhere.
Mhm.
At the same time, so I want to take this opportunity on the program to say hello to Miss May Williams and feel intact.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I
Because
trust they're doing well.
even she was a part of the whole agriculture movement. And I don't think she really feel well to know where to reach at this time
Mm-hmm.
with her contribution to agriculture.
Yeah.
So I wish all our listeners this afternoon, sir, everything that is good for the rest of the week and the days to come. And continue doing your good work that you are doing, sir,
Thank you.
and educating the world.
Thank you. You do the same.
Okay, sir, Malcolm.
Okay. Bye bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And sorry we missed your earlier message, Ginger. Ginger says, what to do if a person is on filing, but the individual who filed the papers refused to continue or remove it from the system? Hoping I'm on the right channel, says Ginger. So we'll do our best to remember to forward this link. All right, we're coming up on a break. Let's take the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Morning Agenda continues the tradition of providing a unique platform for healthy public debate. Weekdays from 7:15 to 9 a.m. Join Jody and Corey on Mondays and Tuesdays and Kemwan McEachron on Wednesdays and Thursdays, while they alternate on Fridays as they set the agenda and break down the issues and keep you informed on what matters to you most. Morning Agenda, speaking with the stakeholders, movers and shakers of our day, serving listeners in Jamaica and around the world. Stay tuned to the Morning Agenda on Power 106 FM, weekdays 7:15 to 9 a.m., where we set the agenda.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Here's another call coming in. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing today, sir?
I am giving thanks for life. And you?
I'm good, doing the same. I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
If you had some commercial properties and I decided that we have this ongoing landlord-tenant relationship, and I tell you that I'm going to pay you in advance a couple of years, can that be considered that you're getting a loan?
Well, that's one way to look at it. But
so elaborate, because it doesn't make sense to me. That's why I'm asking. How would that be a loan?
It's not a final arrangement from a transactional standpoint.
Okay. So what if it's within the lease? So the lease is 10 years. And I decide that instead of paying you every year, I'm going to advance the payment. You still would say that's a loan to you?
Yeah, it's you. Well, as I said, you could call it that, and you could call it a lease as well. Just that there are different features to each of those plans.
So,
or program.
what guys? Your brain is better than mine. What are some of the wrongs about that are the detrimental factors that would factor into such an agreement?
Yeah, I don't know who would have said there was something wrong about it, but
Okay.
I don't know of anything being wrong about it.
So I don't know if you're going where I'm going, but what I've heard, and I don't really want to talk too much about it because I kind of find out, and it's sad, sorry, that mainstream media has fallen to headlines like when I don't know if you can recall when when social media just started out, they used to just drop some little tagline and people run with it. I find that mainstream doing the same thing now. So without even fleshing out some stories, they just go with catchy thing to catch people. So what I'm talking about is the forward payment from the airport with the government.
I know what you're talking about.
Good, I'm happy that you do. And I don't know if you listened to the radio before coming on, but I'm hearing callers making it sound like there's a problem if there's an agreement to prepay something that if the people them stay, they would have to pay anyways. If I was a tenant, I would see that as a good thing to say, well, I'm locked into this, so you can't come and tell me, say, I'm going to raise it every year or whatever. So it's a plus for the tenant. And if the tenant plan on staying, I don't see the problem. But I've heard presenters referring this prepaid lease as a loan to the government. And I'm saying it's not a loan because the word loan means a borrow it. So you're going to have to pay it back. One caller said that, people getting $20,000 now and it's going to cost them $30,000 12 years from now because it's a loan the government gets and it's still borrowing. So I guess loan borrow synonymous. It's not a borrow. The government did not borrow any money. This money is basically owed to the government, and even the term of the lease, it is owed to them. That is my perspective. I don't know if I'm wrong or if you see it like how I see it.
No, we all have different views and different perspectives, and we come from different positions. So any I'm not a gambler, but any number can play.
I'm afraid of them way of thinking, Sir Dervan, because again we find that, and I hear somebody make a quote, I don't remember who it's from, to say, and it was a caller today to say, things and time change. People, those who spread the false narrative, they're not doing it or lies. They're not doing it so people believe them. They're doing it so people don't believe them. And I think it's sad when we have our traditional media who take the stance to say, guess what? Things can go either way. So there is wrong and right in everything. Well, maybe not everything. But to this is wrong and right. A loan is a loan.
So why would you, there's a Jamaican expression, it's called namming up yourself. Why would you want to do that to yourself? To get,
well, if that's
in terms of,
from it, I apologize.
In terms
I am
of
expressing myself, and this
no,
is how I express myself.
no. What I'm saying, why do you want to? Why do you?
I'm myself because I think media practitioners are being irresponsible. Because social media people can go and say whatever they want to say. I believe that the media should be the.
No, I'm trying to help you here. That's what I'm trying to help you. By humbly suggesting that it is what it is. It's obvious what it is. But you're free to express yourself. So there is no need in a democracy where you're free to express yourself to getting in some kind of a range or rage.
And like I say again, if you think I'm getting in a rage, I apologize because I just express myself aggressively as an African. This is normal. You know, I'm not in a rage. I'm not yamming up myself. This is just how I express myself. And I am saying, which is simple, this, sir. I think people go to mainstream media for truth and fact and honesty. Those of us, there's still those of us out there that want to know that when we listen to our radio station and our TV, it's something factual. It's not people come and say something. And if the host take that stance to say, yeah man, people free to do them, then we won't have a difference between social media and traditional media. And that is going to be the death of traditional media.
You are free to do whatever you want to do. You are free to say whatever you want to say.
So,
as long as you're not infringing on someone else's freedom.
Thank you, sir. So, beg 30 seconds. So, for those of you who are saying that the government took a loan, you are misleading and that is misinforming people. And they didn't, it's not a grant, it's money that is owed to them. So it's not a loan. It's not going to cost the Jamaican people because it's not a loan again. It's not going to cost us because we're not paying back anything. So we must stop it. Thank you very much, Mr. Dervan.
Thank you for the call.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. So, some of the messages, the additional messages that have come through. Carol Boyd says, absolutely nothing wrong with prepaying on a lease. It shouldn't be considered a loan. My perspective, she says, as long as they factor the yearly increase in the prepayment, which is essentially the point I'm making. This is what it is. And some more messages popping up. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Why are the JLP having problems with Isaac Buchanan to run as an MP? Hope these people read their Bible and understand it. Saul was a man who rebelled against Christianity, and on his way to Damascus, he was called by Christ and he became the Apostle Paul. He too on a different task, so nothing wrong with the young man running for MP, Lawrence in Cayman. This one says, Dervan, when a tenant pays rent in advance, it is typically not considered a loan. Instead, it is regarded as a prepayment of rent. In this scenario, the tenant is paying for the right to occupy the property for a specified period in the future. The advance payment can be viewed as a form of security for the landlord, ensuring that the tenant is committed to the lease agreement. The landlord usually agrees to this arrangement in the lease document. It's essential to clarify the terms in the lease to avoid any misunderstandings about the nature of the payment. In the present circumstances, it is an advantage to the government because of the concept of time value of money. And that's from GBO. Thank you for your message, GBO. This one from Neville, also known as Salah, says Dervan agriculture in time past was the backbone of the Jamaican people. Dervan, whenever you go to market like Carnation, you do not see things like oranges, tangerine, and hardly any citrus in the market. The government is really at sleep, and also the opposition. They need to go back to the days of Michael Manley, when agriculture was our first priority. Kevin Galloway says, I am with you, my friend and brother in the Lord, keeping watch right here. Thank you for your message. Cuban in Georgia says, Sir Malcolm, the attacks on the media and the IC is unfounded. The ruling JLP and the administration must be condemned. The government should lead by example, not the attack dog on the media. And let's see, I think we have exhausted all the messages. Here's another. Hi, Dervan, good day. Yet again, the shooting in Jamaica has raised its ugly head. What is the problem? Something must be seriously wrong. Why these so-called gun thugs keep killing so many people? The killing in Manchester, St. Elizabeth, St. Catherine, and Westmoreland is senseless. Now it's cassava peace. I also read where 2 shootings took place in Seaforth, St. Thomas, one fatally. What is wrong with these thugs who have no respect for human life? It's very sad that more than 1,000 people, especially men, die each year as a result of gunshot wounds. As a result of gunshot. This is totally unacceptable, says the writer. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
the Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
And to conclude reading this message, this is totally unacceptable. The government and opposition need to step up their efforts to stop these thugs in their tracks so innocent people can live without fear. That's from H. Morgan in Birmingham. Thank you very much, H. Morgan in Birmingham, for your message. As we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And this one from Eureka says, hello, Dervan. The recent attacks on the media by the leader of the opposition and members of the JLP should be condemned. I'm very disappointed that Mark Golding referred to media houses as JLP aligned and that Everald Warmington labeled media members as PNP. This behavior is unacceptable, says Eureka. Eight 876-922-4112-5 are the numbers to call if you wish to contribute to the discussion, if you wish to participate. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. So we look forward to more of your messages and your calls on both sides of the story here on Paro 106. So we continue to take your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. As we continue with more from you, our faithful listeners at home and abroad. And let's see if we can clear a few more of these messages. We see your message, Natalie Winter. She says, blessing and love going through the air to Dervan and all the listeners, viewers worldwide. One love. One love to you too. Good afternoon to Carol Boyth, who is tuned in and listening and reiterating her point. So let's get in a few more of these messages before time runs out. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. And Carol Boyth says, I'm deeply disappointed in the state of politics in Jamaica. It often feels like the focus is not on the needs of the people, and real progress is hindered by a lack of effective leadership and accountability. It's frustrating to see the same issues persist without meaningful solutions, and it leaves many of us feeling disillusioned with the direction the country is heading. So let's thank you for your message, Carol Boyth. We still have time for more of your messages and your calls. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. So keep those messages coming in and those calls here on both sides of the story, Paro 106 FM. As we continue to share with you at home and abroad. And those numbers once again, 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And for the record, we'll just repeat what Carol Boyth said. I am deeply disappointed in the state of politics in Jamaica. It often feels like the focus is not on the needs of the people, and real progress is hindered by a lack of effective leadership and accountability. It's frustrating to see the same issues persist without meaningful solutions, and it leaves many of us feeling disillusioned with the direction the country is heading. You see, it's as we continue with more on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 365-3346. 365-3346. And let's keep it going here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM, as we continue. And thank those of you who have called and listened and participated. Thank you very much. And we continue. It's a hell of a thing when the shoe is on the other foot. And let's see this one here from GMAC in the Cayman Islands. So, this phone is creating a program for itself. There goes AI at work. Oh dear. Let's continue with more on both sides of the story here on Poro 106 FM. This one says, hello, Dervan. Tell Carol that the situation she describes is not peculiar to Jamaica. Take a look at the great US and other countries globally. It is sad, but Marky G will fix everything like Trump did in the US. And this is from GMAC in the Cayman Islands. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. And feel free to keep the discussion going. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. As we continue with more on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and faithful listeners. I'm here listening to my favorite radio stations, she says. Thank you. As we continue with more on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and still taking your calls. And let's keep it going here on both sides of the story, here on Power 106 FM. And an opportunity to get a sense of the thought process. Couple of calls, phones going off at the same time. Hello, good afternoon.
Long time don't say 2 words, Dervan. This is Natalie from Washington Gardens. How are you doing?
I am fine, thanks, Natalie from Washington Gardens.
How are you?
I am giving thanks.
That is good to hear. Looking forward to your birthday soon.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't get to wish. I don't know if I'm going to get to wish you happy birthday Sunday, but I'm going to wish you happy birthday to come Sunday, and I wish you all the best and all the love and all the respect that I have for you. So you keep sweet and you keep safe.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Okay. Love you.
Thanks for the call.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Start an emergency fund. A mantra in personal finance is pay yourself first, which means saving money for emergencies and your future. This simple practice keeps you out of trouble financially and helps you sleep better at night. Life happens, and we do not always have control over when expenses arise. By having an emergency savings account, unexpected finances won't force you to incur debt or throw you too far off your financial plan. To determine the amount you should save, figure out how much you spend each month. Once you get into the habit of saving money, you will stop treating savings as optional and start treating it as a required monthly expense.
Turns the corner, finds himself within a different world. Ghetto kid grabs his shoulder, throws him up against the wall. He says, would you respect me if I didn't have this gun? 'Cause without it, I don't get it, and that's why I carry one. We always need to hear both sides of the story.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Carol Boyth says, Mr. Malcolm, I feel like we're living in a country where dictatorship reigns. Isn't Jamaica supposed to be a democracy? Why are people being threatened with lawsuits for simply expressing their views? Our people need to understand that their loyalty should be to the country, not to any political color or party, let that person know that my love and loyalty are to Jamaica, not tied to any particular party. This is exactly why we need to push for another party that truly represents the best interests of the nation, not just political affiliations. I stand with and for Jamaica, says Carol. Thank you for your message. And this one from Cuban in Georgia, he says, the JLP must act responsibly and stop attacking the fourth, I think you mean the fourth estate, as in the media. The media has a right to operate without fear or favor. The media is not the one, can't have its statutory declarations not certified. The media is not telling untruth on the facts. The media is not responsible for the man who drowned in a pothole, so stop attacking the media for doing its job. From Cuban in Georgia. And one more before we go back to Steve in Canada. This one says, afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. My message is to send out to Mr. Minto, the superintendent at the Santa Cruz police station. Just want him to know that the pedestrian crossing in Santa Cruz, after you pass the first stoplight going in the town, why when we using it to cross, the vehicle won't stop? I almost got hit down more than once on it. We're sorry to hear that. You might want to be a little bit more careful as well. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Here's Steve McDonald once again. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thanks very much for taking my call, Dervan. And again, good afternoon to your listeners. I just had to call you back because I just wanted to get some more information on that party. You didn't share with us the venue and the time and so forth. And, do we need to bring anything, or is just come and have fun?
Oh, you're joking, right?
Are you having a birthday?
Not today.
Oh, no, I'm not talking today. I heard somebody just wish you a happy birthday, and I'm sure that we're going to have a celebration to celebrate your birthday. And I know you love your listeners and you want to share it with your listeners, right?
I hear you.
Anyway, Dervan, I just heard you with Cuban in Cuban in Georgia?
Yes.
Is that what? Yes. And I really hope that he's not blaming the pothole for killing the man. Because, I really hope that's not the pothole that he's blaming for the man's death. But stranger things have happened. Likewise, I don't think you can blame the government for the man's death either. It's just as crazy as blaming the pothole. I think there has to be a point that there has to be personal responsibility where, in terms of taking care of ourselves. But main reason for my fun and joke aside, as we normally say, I just saw a comment on your Facebook page that Carol made, and I think she was referring to the bond issue, and where she was saying that it's not you can't, it's a lease or something like that. What did she say? She was saying it was a lease or absolutely nothing wrong with repaying on a lease. It shouldn't be considered a loan. The bonds are actually debt instrument. That's DEBT, debt instrument. So regardless of what we believe that we want to consider it as, or however they want to color it as, it is actually a debt instrument that has to be repaid, right? And so there's no two way about it. It has to be repaid.
That's the point I was making. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thanks for saying that. And the government has to pay these annual interests, and if it actually defaults on the coupon, the rating of the country can come down too, in terms of the different rating agencies. Our rating have actually been going up, and if we default on the coupon or the interest payment, the annual interest payment, then our rating can come down, which will also affect our ability to borrow funds in the future. So there's no two way about it. This is a debt instrument. If you want, a loan is a bit different in that, well, almost we could say, for ease the term, we could say 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. In that it's
same family.
Yeah, same family. And they're first cousins, if we can put it that way, right? From that perspective. So, so with that being said, we have to be very cognizant of what it is used for. And unfortunately, I don't know if the PSOJ was at the same party as the man on the bicycle, but they don't seem to be interested in the business aspect of what is happening. Based on their last pronouncement, they're just into a party mode. But these are things that the PSOJ should be more involved in and discussing more in terms of and ensuring that they keep the government on track. And you just read something about from Carl with regards to the third party and so forth. I think our politicians, and I've shared this with you already, our politicians have done a very, very, very good job of having us politically segmented into political camps, and we're no tribalism. It's political tribalism in terms of what is happening. Whenever we talk about anything or say anything somebody wants to view, I remember I said something on your show probably 2 or 3 days ago, and somebody wanted to put it from a political perspective. And that is what always happens. Whenever we say anything, somebody has to look at it through a political lens to see which side you may be leaning on, or trying to believe which side you may be leaning on from a political perspective. And Carl is right. We need to start put country over party and over politics. And unless we do that, we're not going to get any better. Like, I don't understand how someone can say they're born Labourite, they're born PFP. I don't understand. It's like when they come out of the womb, instead of getting that slap on the bottom, they got a stamp. They were branded. But you talk about branded, it's all the same slavery thing, because remember, as slaves, we were branded. So it's not much different. Even though we have progressed, we no more have the physical chain, but we're still in bondage. We're in political bondage, right? And our people are the ones who are putting them crazy. Before they captured us from the motherland and put us in terms of slavery. Now we go and put ourselves in that slavery. We as who was it? Bob said, after he came down to Westmoreland and spent some time with Peter Touch, he said, listen, you have to free yourself from mental slavery, right? And that's where we need to go as a people. Thank you very much for the time again, Dervan. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, and if I don't talk to you before your birthday comes, be very careful because you know the pothole, them vicious, them deadly, them take life. All right, then, Dervan, you have a very good one.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
And Carol says the roads are in terrible condition. And just as vehicles are required to pass safety inspections to be allowed on the roads themselves should also be inspected and maintained to ensure they are safe for cars. It's only right that the infrastructure meets proper safety standards to protect both drivers and their vehicles from unnecessary damage and danger. Yes, still in bondage, my brother, she goes on to say. Thank you. Thank you for your message, Carol, and all the very best. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Thursday, the 10th of October, 2024. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears to wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
news, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's
Hi.
News at 5.